Hello and welcome. Today, I would like to present to you a situation where inaccurate information from the internet causes a problem. It is the misinformation about 5G or the fifth generation telecommunication standard for broadband cellular networks and COVID-19, also known as the coronavirus disease 2019. A disclaimer. This presentation touches a very sensitive topic, that is conspiracy theories and COVID-19. This is a report based on my knowledge of the situation and sources of information that I perceive as credible sources. To whoever watching this presentation, please make sure to carefully study the information yourself before making claims or venturing further into this topic. Right, I'll begin a little bit differently and I will talk about the references that I will be using throughout this presentation. Alright, so for the sake of narration, a large portion of written content shown in this presentation is from Wired. Wired follows Coordinates Code of Conduct and Editor's Code of Practice set by the Independent Press Standards Organization (CIC). By this, Wired as a press agrees to take care not to publish inaccurate, misleading or distorted information or images, including headlines not supported by the text. Right, so let's talk about how it began. On January 22, 2020, Belgian newspaper Het Laatste Nieuws published an interview with Chris van Kerkhoven, a general practitioner from Putte, near Antwerp, Belgium, stating, "5G is life-threatening and no one knows it. I have not done a fact check, but it may be a link with current events." This information was quickly picked up by anti-5G campaigners, initially Dutch, but soon spread to English social media. The underlying concern about power lines, wireless network and mobile phones had been there for a long time. Hence, anti-5G are largely people who have been worrying about these power lines, wired networks and mobile phones sort of thing. But it took a turn for the worse in the COVID-19 pandemic. The Belgian newspaper withdrew the article within a few hours, as the quotes spoken by the practitioner were unfounded. However, it was too late. Conspiracy theories had already popped up on several places. Right, let's get to how it evolved. So, obscure online talk shows hosts and vloggers or video bloggers started talking about the truth about 5G and coronavirus on YouTube, gaining a large numbers of views. At the same time, various Facebook posts with similar claims also received thousands of views, initially mostly from a familiar audience. So what's the familiar audience? They are people who have been against the idea of wireless network and power lines and all that sort of thing. And so now, instead of, staying inside the community, talking about power line and everything, harming people, now that there's something new about COVID-19 and 5G, there's a big fuss that people make. They started taking advantage of the situation and make it worse. Right, so things soon got worse as conspiracy theories spread further due to engagement algorithms. They can spot a viral trend but could not notice the trustworthiness of its content. Misinformation was also picked up by celebrities with large online presences and audiences, varying from thousands to millions of followers. Boxer Amir Khan, singer Anne Marie, actor Woody Harrelson, pop star Kerry Hilson, and TV personality Amanda Holden are a few examples. InfoWars, a far-right conspiracy theory website, further fueled the fire by stating that 5G launched in Wuhan weeks before coronavirus outbreak, as well as linking the pandemic to the Gates Foundation by Bill and Melinda Gates. And the objective of the Gates Foundation was to help to contain the spread and find a cure, not to cause harm to people. Zero Hedge, a conspirational financial blog, claimed coronavirus could be an artificially created bioweapon. Amanda Wormer, an anti-vaccination campaigner, posted videos to Facebook and YouTube claiming the death of Kobe Bryant in a helicopter crash was linked to vaccination being a dangerous mass murder tool by a cult called Illuminati. Anti-vaccination activist Robert F. Kennedy Jr. also shared the misinformation, claiming 5G was destroying the country and nature. As the situation evolved, blog posts, videos, articles, tweets, content, and web pages with conspiracy theories and misinformation never ceased to gain more and more views, shares, and interactions across various social media networks. At the same time, multiple 5G masts were destroyed, along with arson attacks and hate towards telecommunications companies and organizations. Amid the fire, attempts have been made to spread awareness of 5G misinformation and COVID-19 to people on the online front. These include educational researches, notice from governmental bodies, and information from major organizations for health and well-being like the World Health Organization and UNICEF. Right, so let's talk about the efforts that were made. Some examples of efforts made to provide scientifically correct information to people. Right, so we have the different forms of COVID-19 misinformation and their consequences. This is a peer-reviewed article by Harvard Kennedy School. 5G misinformation and COVID-19. This is an informational page by Department of Infrastructure, Transport, Regional Development and Communications, Australia government. 5G empowering recovery and fighting misinformation in Europe, which is a new post by GSMA Europe. And GSMA stands for Global System for Mobile Communications Association. 5G, it is the page, an informational page by International Commission for Non-Ionizing Radiation Protection. Mythbusters, a COVID-19 advice page for the public by World Health Organization. And 5G technology, cell phones, cell phone towers, and antennas, an informational page by the Government of Canada. Right, so I will end the presentation with some ending remarks. Right, so it is important to educate ourselves, realize and rely on trusted sources of information. Research and findings from World Health Organization, and ICNIRP have confirmed that the International Health Protection Guidelines for electromagnetic field or EMF exposure apply to all the frequencies in use and planned for 5G, which means 5G would be safe to use. Research from Harvard Kennedy School states that the major culprits in the spread of misinformation about COVID-19 are people's orientations towards scientists and policymakers and their willingness to blindly accept proclamations from like-minded politicians who traffic in misinformation. Therefore, it is important that governments need to be more proactive in effectively communicating technical and scientific information like details about 5G to the public and also to themselves. Social networks and online media platforms may have had anti-terrorism and filters for child sexual exploitation in place, however have failed to detect and prevent misinformation. This is another technical engineering challenge that, in light of these events, is urged to be tackled. And that is my presentation on the topic. Thank you for watching.